Hello everyone, my name is Cindy Veras, and today I will be talking about applying social psychology to the classroom, and this is for my senior Capstone class. Applying social psychology to a classroom is very important to start by defining what is social influence, and it is how other people's belief, attitudes, and action impact individual. Peer pressure, groups, norms, those in position of power, and the media are a few ways we can consciously or unconsciously develop. People's idea, emotion, and behaviors can change due to social influence, which can have positive and negative outcomes. Social influence operates in the classroom in many different ways, and it significantly affects how motivated and academically successful children are. For instance, peer pressure has influenced students' academic behavior, including lying and obeying the law. Students were more likely to cheat on tests when they believed their classmates were doing it, according to a 2019 study by Height and Henderson. According to Harrison and McNally, 2017, peer pressure can also impact students' motivation to learn and engage in class activities. Teacher expectation can influence the academic performance and classroom participation of children. According to O'Brien and Questwell, 2019, students perform better in class and at intellectual level when professors have high expectation. Conflicts between groups and social norms can have an impact on group decision making. Johnson and Borton, 2018, discovered the relationships and communication choices among group members affected group decision making. In the classroom, many different social factors play a role. For instance, comfort describes people's tendency to follow the expectations and standard of the groups, even if they might not necessarily agree with them. But to avoid acceptance or rejection, students might imitate the teachers or fellow students' action or attitude. The tendency of people to follow demands made by peers or higher ups is called compliance. To avoid punishment or to receive rewards, students might follow the advice of the instructor or classmates. The tendency of people to follow the instructor of authority figures such as teacher or school administrator is called obedience. Students might obey the school's or classroom rules and regulation to avoid punishment or maintain order. Social identity describes how people define themselves about their social group membership. Students' attitude and conduct in the classroom might be influenced by their identity with particular social grouping such as gender, race, or background. Now, I want to talk about the role of teacher credibility and interpersonal relationship. It's very important the teacher's credibility in the classroom. That's why teacher needs to develop a trust present in the classroom in order to encourage successful learning outcome. According to O'Brien and Westwell 2019 Student Insight, teachers' credibility to trust is the teacher's credibility. The capacity of teacher credibility to affect students' motivation and participation in the learning process makes it necessary. When we talk about the role of teacher credibility and interpersonal relationships, it's also very important to mention the effect of teacher-student relationship on student learning. For example, studies have shown the great benefit between student learning outcome like engagement, academic successful, and teacher trust. A reliable teacher can influence a student's attitude and view about learning, improving the desire and ability to participate in class activity. Therefore, teacher must establish trust by demonstrating their knowledge of the topic, speaking to the student openly and constantly, and being helpful and approachable. The relationships between teachers and students significantly influence the classroom atmosphere and the students' learning outcome. Good teacher-student relationships are defined by logic, trust, and open communication. This connection might affect the student's motivations of learning, sense of self, social skill, and social and academic growth. The impact of teacher behavior on student behavior. Teacher-student solid connection have been found to improve student learning outcomes, such as academic performance, attendance, and behavior. When students with a good relationship with a teacher, they can handle any emotional difficulties, including stress and anxiety. As a result, teacher must place a higher priority on developing to making sure that the relationship with the student is being approachable and compassionate. The teacher can also influence the student behavior in the classroom. Teachers' behavior and attitude towards learning might influence the students' conduct and attitudes, which in turn might affect the social norm and expectation in the classroom. For instance, teachers who set an example for appropriate behavior and reward students for good behavior can promote a positive, engaging learning environment. Self-regulation, learning, and socialization, which is the ability to organize, track, and analyze one's learning and is necessary for success in school. On the other hand, socialization describes the process by which people take on their social groups, customs, belief, and action. Self-regulating, learning, and interaction with others combine in a highly complicated way. The role of socialization in self-regulating learning. Many psychological and mental systems go into self-regulating learning. This process involves setting goals, tracking development, planning action, and evaluating outcomes. Self-regulating learners are more likely to perform well in class, be motivated to study, and feel positive. But the development of independent learning is not just the result of personal effort. It is also affected by the social settings in which learning takes place. The influence of modeling on student behavior. The socialization of students play a significant role in how they learn. Students are exposed to different social factors in classroom, such as their peers, teacher, and the expectation of the learning environment. The strength of social influence on student conduct has been the subject of in-depth research by social psychologists. According to research, students' academic habits are highly influenced by the norms and expectation of their social group. Teachers may use modeling as a form of social influence as an effective way to encourage students' self-regulating learning. Modeling involves acting in ways that are in keeping with expectation for the students. Students are more likely to adopt self-regulating learning habits when teachers serve as a role model, such as goal planning, time management, and self-reflection. Teachers can also demonstrate using particular learning techniques, such as taking notes, summarizing material, and organizing it. These techniques can help students learn more quickly and effectively. Self-regulated learning and association. Peer influence is another significant element that might impact kids' ability to study independently. By offering social support and encouragement, peers can help students feel more secure and motivated during school. Compared to peer pressure, engagement in harmful behaviors like lying, removing from class might underestimate student ability to learn independently. Also, language and accent are two components of social status that impact growing up and self-regulated learning. Students who connect with a particular student group might be more likely to participate in educational activities supporting its value and views. Social identity can also lead to a risk of stereotyping and the pressure people experience to stick to negative beliefs about the group. Threats based on stereotype might restrict students' ability to study independently because they feel they are afraid and less motivated. The development of self-regulated learning, which is necessary for academic achievement, is significantly impacted by culture. Understanding how modeling peer pressure and social status affects students' self-regulating learning behavior is difficult. Teacher can enhance the student ability process by promoting positive learning behaviors through this social effect. However, to adopt productive measurement, one must be aware of the potential negative. When educators are aware of the importance of socialization for self-regulated learning, they might design helpful, productive learning environment that support the successful of all students. Now, let's get into the explanation of social identity theory, which is a theory that is well-organized concept in social psychology that explains how people view an interaction with groups. This theory claimed that people's sense of self and self-worth arises from their connection with a particular social group based on their nationality, relationship, religion, race, gender. According to social identity theory, people classify themselves into social groups and evaluate themselves to other in the groups and negative to people in other groups. The idea also argued that individuals frequently adopt a group's view, attitude, and action to fit into their norms and expectation. Social identity effect on classroom behavior. Social identity and self-image significantly affect classroom behavior and academic performance. Some study has looked at how social influence affects classroom behavior and academic performance. The results show that self-perception and social identity are important in this process. For instance, social identity and self-perception have been linked to academic motivation, engagement, achievement, group decision-making, peer pressure, and discrimination. The effects on social identity on classroom behavior. Self-identification and social identification play equally significant role in group decision making in the classroom. Johnson and Border in 2018 study students share decision making in the classroom. They found the group behavior, including communication and information processing, can be influenced by the social identity and self-identification. Also, discrimination and bias in the classroom can also result from social identification and self-identification. Now, let's talk about the pro-social behavior and well-being. Pro-social behavior is helping, sharing, or working with others. Several things such as empathy, compassion, and a sense of social obligation can drive this behavior. Pro-social behavior is important to establish healthy connection in creating a welcoming and peaceful community. Self-motivation is an important factor influence pro-social behavior since it is motivated by internal desire to engage in the behavior rather than the external rewards or demand. People who are independently motivated to act positively are more likely to keep going in the effort, enjoying greater well-being, and feel more fulfilled by what they do than when people are motivated by external factors like social norm or expectation. When helping others, people usually experience positive emotion, including happiness and gratitude. These feelings can bring happiness and a sense of purpose, improving general wellness. Now, let's think about the future research and practice that it could happen. Given the potential advantage of using social psychology in the classroom, there is still a lot of unsolved questions. The effect of social influence on academic participation is one subject for further study. According to a study, social influence can affect academic emotion, but less is known about how it influences academically engagement, which is the key indicator of academic achievement. Future studies should also focus on how social standards affect classroom discipline. Teachers can use this knowledge to promote good behavior in the classroom by understanding how social norms influence student behavior. There's still much to learn effectively to use social norm adjustment in the classroom. Furthermore, definitely more study is required to understand how emotions function in the classroom. Emotions can affect students' motivation, and learning, but teacher might need the proper tool and understanding to manage emotions appropriately. Teachers could benefit from social psychologists' insight into improving classroom management, student motivation, and academic accomplishment. Teacher might create an environment for learning that encourage academic honesty and motivation by having a deep knowledge of the effect of social influence, social identity, and teamwork on student behavior. By combining social psychology and learning in an environment, research might continue to create inclusive learning environment for all students.